right, welcome once again to Lubbock, Texas for the World Match Play Championships. David Collier alongside PPA Commissioner Joe A. Boyd. And Joe, started with 96 and now it's down to 2.
Down to 2. 2 quality putters, James Heikkinen and Robert Johnson. Jim is from North Olmsted, Ohio, a city outside of Cleveland. He's an account manager who turned professional in 1995. Robert Johnson is an architect from Lake Wiley, South Carolina, who is the 2002 and 2003 PPA Seniors National Champion. This promises to be a great match.
Let's not waste any time. Let's get out to hole 1. All right, just to refresh everybody's memories, Jim Heikkinen making it to the finals with a win over Robin Ventura, and then Rojo advanced with an unbelievable come-from-behind victory over Brad Lebo in the semifinals.
Great matches, both players being wished good luck by tournament official Andy Corradini from Atlanta, Georgia. And with honors, the all-important honors on the first hole, Jim Heikkinen.
Remember last time through, all Jim did was tie the TV record with 9 straight putts. He's not going to do that today,
That will not happen.
A little more pressure in the finals than the semifinals.
There is, and that's a front door shot as well. The players do not expect to use the backboard on that one, so I know he's showing signs of nerves.
Meanwhile, Robert didn't have that bad of a time in the semifinals on the front 9 either.
He made 7 of 9, as I
7 of
recall.
9.
Oh. And speed just not what he would have liked.
Both little first hole jitters. Maybe it's out of the way now as we move on to the second hole.
Retaining honors, Jim Heikkinen. With that open stance that he uses. Oh, you can hear him?
Yep.
He just
you knew that one wasn't good right
the
off
hill.
the,
you know, he's
right off the putter. That wasn't good.
This should be a routine tap in for Jim. Opening the way now for Rojo, Robert Johnson, to take the early lead.
See if Robert has completely put the semifinal putting he had on this hole out of his mind. He 3-putted that hole, I guess.
Didn't he? Well, he's going to get an opportunity now to do one better than the previous match, but still maintain an even match in this finals with Jim Heikkinen.
So once again, all square heading into this third hole. Jim with the honors once again, and you mentioned that stance. That's my favorite stance out of the group by far.
Well, it's an open stance, works best for him. This is that short 12-foot putt.
Thanks.
And he's going to be happy that that one broke the dry spell for him. You hear him say it?
He must have forgot the last semifinal he played. He made 9 of them in a row.
Well, these guys expect to make holes in ones every time they tee it up. Par 2 on every hole, meaning every hole is designed to make a hole in one. And at this level of play, they're disappointed if they miss.
Especially if you're 12 feet away from the cup. Not that it's an easy shot, but they both make it look that way.
Yes, they do, and the match remains tied after 3 holes of play. I'm standing here with Putt Putt Golf Course owner Jim Evans. And Jim, on behalf of the Professional Putters Association, I want to thank you for hosting this event. You have a wonderful facility.
Thank you, Joe, and it's been a privilege to host the PPA's tournament this week. It's been something that's been a goal of ours for a long time, and certainly thank all the support of the people of Lubbock and the organizations in Lubbock, particularly the Lubbock Sports Authority, for their help in bringing this event to this town. It's been great. I think all the players have had a great week.
We've been treated fairly, and we look forward to coming back. Thanks very much.
And speaking of Lubbock, let's take a look at this beautiful city.
Discover legendary Lubbock for your next event. The home of Texas Tech University. And over 200,000 people. Yet you can be just about anywhere in Lubbock in 20 minutes. It's called the Hub City, and it's a great place to raise a family. Discover legendary Lubbock.
And once again, thanks to Jim and Colleen Evans getting this course in great shape for the semifinals and today's final.
The players have had a great time here this week, and what a great facility and a great city to host this event.
Great putting going on right here.
2 in a row for Jim, with honors, putting pressure on Rojo.
You would think that that's the last thing that Johnson wants in this situation. He had to watch Heikkinen knock 9 straight in the semifinals. The last thing he wants to do is let him get on another run like that.
That's right, but he's faced the challenges before. I'm sure that he's up to it, and he certainly hopes he's up to it.
As we go into hole 5, once again, we're all square.
Now, Jim changed his stance a little bit on this one. A little bit more close stance.
Slow down, turn right.
And this is that hole that the players love. Nice straight shot, good speed in the bottom of the cup.
You got to like when the ball listens to you as well.
Talk to the ball as often as you can.
Rojo gives it the silent treatment, but apparently knows where to go.
Yeah, he's giving vibes to the golf ball that are
Nice
apparently
speed.
very successful.
Wow.
So a good run for both players, making holes 3, 4, and 5, 3 in a row for each. Moving on to hole number 6 with the match all square.
No one wants to budge at this point.
Stay off.
Jim remaining with the honors.
All right.
Nice shot. Never touched the side rail. Didn't need to on that particular shot. Robert will play the exact same shot with what he hopes are the exact same results. Using T-map position 7 on this particular hole. 7 dots along the front of every putt-putt golf course T-mat, with number 1 being by your feet and number 7 being the furthest away. And same results. 4 in a row for each player. Match is even. We're a third of the way through. 6 holes have been played. 4 under par. Are you happy with where you are at this point?
Happy now. A little bit of a rough start there, missing the first 2 holes, but once you get that first ace, it generally gets things rolling.
So you're happy with your stroke?
Very happy right now. I'm going to need it to stay ahead of Robert.
And how do you go ahead? Obviously, having to score holes in ones, but the honors is a big part of this.
Yeah, it is. If you can make that ace, there's a little bit more pressure on the guy coming up behind you to, to not lose the hole. So hopefully I can keep the honors.
You had a chance to take honors on holes 1 and 2. It didn't happen. You still, though, have to feel good about your game. 4 under par after 6 holes.
I do. I didn't really hit a good ball on either 1 or 2, so I was fortunate not to lose either hole.
And now you're relaxed, ready to go?
Absolutely.
Let's go. We'll be back right after this.
And welcome back to the Match Play Championship Series final. David Collier alongside PPA Commissioner Joe A. Boyd. And after 6 holes, Jim Heikkinen, Robert Johnson, all square.
Tied up, moving into hole number 7.
Another touch shot.
That makes the 5th consecutive hole in 1 for Jim.
Getting that touch back from the semifinal match where he tied the TV record with 9 straight to start the match.
Right. Followed again by Robert Johnson. 5 in a row for him.
Putt, Robert.
Some beautiful putting by both players. Match remains even. Moving into hole number 8. And at this point, the type of shot changes from the straight shots to an angle shot. Off the side rail, off an obstacle.
Turnover.
Obviously, not the shot that he wanted right there, but like you said, you've got to make an adjustment from that one hole to another, especially when using the rails as opposed to
a straight shot.
Yeah.
So the opening that Rojo wants, a hole in 1 here gives him the all-important honors. Off the side rail, past the obstacle. Off the backboard, and
did not get the kick that he wanted right there.
I know he's disappointed with that, but he'll tap in his par 2. The match will remain even after 8 holes of play. Moving in on hole number 9.
This one is Now he's back to the straight shot.
I know Jim feels a sigh of relief here that he gave an opportunity, an opening for Robert Johnson to take honors, and Robert didn't capitalize on it, and he follows with another ace.
These two guys obviously friends, though. After he makes the ace, he tells Robert to follow suit there.
Good sports in this game. But that's 7 out of 9 holes now for Jim, and what a perfect shot there. Just the last roll into the cup. 7 out of 9 for Robert Johnson. So after 9 holes of play, it's all square, dead even, going into the back 9.
Eventually, somebody's going to take a step and actually go one up in this match. It's just a question of when.
That will have to happen. A double bank hole here for Jim.
Finds a cup right there.
Bottom of the cup, and putting pressure on Robert Johnson to top him on this particular hole, and it's a difficult hole. Has to have the right speed. That one appears to be a good shot. Oh, just a little bit too hard. And earlier this week, we had a chance to talk to a future Hall of Famer in the Professional Putters Association. David, I got some trivia for you. I bet you didn't know this. Putt-putt golf began in 1954. And since that time, over 1 billion rounds of putt-putt have been played across the world.
I didn't know that.
There's been 2 perfect 18 shot in that time. We're standing next to one of the guys.
I'd say I'm guessing this guy has something to do with that.
To do with this is John Napoli. He's also a national champion of the Professional Putters Association. And in 1979, he shot a perfect 18. John, first take us back that far if you can and tell us your feelings of that day and of that night.
Yeah, we were in Columbus, Ohio at the course that Joe ran, and it was also the national championship course for that season. And it was a perfect evening, Wednesday evening. We started on hole 1 and just got it going. I felt in the zone sort of in pre-tournament practice. And after 9 holes, one of my playing partners ran up and informed Joe that I'd made the first 9. And then after 14 holes, Joe came out and said, "Do you mind if we just stop the tournament and let everybody line up along the bleachers and watch this final 4 holes?" I said, "Fine, we'll give it a try." And I hit a couple of them a little too hard that they spun around and went in, but on the very end, the last one made it into the cup. And you know, I didn't think as much of it back then, but like you said, now that so many more rounds have been played since, and this was May 23rd, 1979, and no 18's been shot since, I'm more impressed with it now, I guess. But I'm just glad it worked out that way and glad you were running the tournament when it happened.
Better to be lucky than good sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's true. Lucky a couple of times down the finish.
So when the players like we had today shot a 9 for the television, does that bring you back to that time? Do you ever worry about you won't be the last person to ever do it?
I'm kind of waiting for someone to do it again. It's possible on that course that was just played because every hole's makeable. It just so happened that no one got the 10th hole to go in. But the 2 9s that were shot there, you know, by players that are really in the zone right now, and that's what it takes. It takes something like that under the intense concentration of a national championship week that it could happen again. We'll see.
Well, we're glad you're here. He's a national champion of the Professional Putters Association and the last person to shoot a perfect game, John Napoli.
Well, we won't be seeing that perfect game from either one of these players, but we are seeing a pretty good match between these two as we head into the 11th hole. Joe?
You have 2 evenly matched players, Jim Haken and Robert Johnson.
Come on, be good, be good.
Ooh, I fully expected him to be able to make this hole, during this time. But he does leave the opening for Robert Johnson to bring the match back to even on hole number 11.
Robert actually aced this hole in the semifinal match against Brad Lebo, so he's proved he can do it before.
Straight in.
And he's going to find himself just a little bit short. Just didn't have enough speed. Right angle, right shot, wrong speed. Does not have the opportunity to pick up that hole. So he still finds himself 1 down going into hole number 12.
Hole number 12. Honors once again to Jim Haken.
Jim using team map position number 1 off the back rail and into the cup. A terrific shot by him. And I'll tell you, this is becoming extremely important now that Robert Johnson topped him on this. He's using a different team map position here. As evenly matched as they are, and as well as both players are playing.
You do not want to go
afford
down
to go down 2.
Which he does.
So he is 2 down after 12 holes of play.
That hole right there, obviously, a little turning point right there for you guys. You guys were all square through 9. Last few holes, I guess, have caught up to you.
Yeah, I didn't really hit a good ball there or on hole 10, so Jim hit them good, so I've still got a few holes left.
I was about to say, in semifinal, you were down quite a bit there for most of the match, so, I mean, you know how to come back in this thing.
Hopefully.
All right, best of luck to you. And Jim, you've been in this situation before in the semifinals. I guess you know what you're up against.
Well, yeah, that experience, I'm going to try to draw on that. And the other fact is, there's 6 holes left, and I know Robert's a very good player, so I just have to keep making holes.
All right, guys, best of luck the rest of the way. Let's continue the action. And welcome back to the World Match Play Championship final between Jim Heikkinen and Robert Johnson. We are on hole 13 right now, and Heikkinen in a nice position here, 2 up against Rojo.
Not a hole again, David, that these players expect to make. If they do make this one, it's a bonus. Of course, all holes on putt-putt are par 2. All holes are designed for a hole-in-one. This is just one of the tougher ones for him.
Obviously, Rojo hoping for that bonus right now so he can pick up a hole on Heikkinen.
A little bit too strong. He'll knock in his